Okay. The regular meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners for March is called to order. Reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of last month's meeting.
Second. Okay. Those in favor? Opposed? And carried. We'll wait a couple minutes for bills and accounts. Cooper Lake improvements.
We have a tentative startup date for construction on 4/3. They're gonna start remobilizing. Weather dependent, but that's what they're shooting for, is April 3rd. We have begun dropping the reservoir to get back to 1096 at 10 feet down. We'll get close to there based on current rate of dropping around that time. And we're gonna try and maintain it at 10 feet down until hopefully at some point during the season, we can bring it up a little bit as they do some of the work. That's kind of where we're at in terms of construction. There's still one piece that we are missing. I'll just that as I go through my list here. The first thing is I sent everybody a change order request number 5. We had talked about this last month with the low level outlet where the profile of the lake bottom was off just enough that they had to change their plan of attack. So this is the change order for the next piece of pipe and some fittings and the crane to come back. The alternative was they bring the same crane in and they dredge, and we have to shut the entire plant down because we're not going to be able to take the water due to the turbidity, and it costs conservatively twice as much. So this is the alternative to doing that. It would come out of contingency. I just did the math upstairs. We're at about $150,000. So change order so far about or less than 1% of the total project. Construction,
but half of the
contingency is gone. Will be gone after this. Yeah, so we're about halfway through the contingency. Yeah,
and this is so it's actually last number 4 was the survey of the bottom for the purpose of
coming up with a plan.
This new profile installation.
Sure.
Okay. And yeah, I guess it frustrates me that this wasn't all picked up on the original plan submission that we're getting to the end here, and then all of a sudden we got to pay $79,000 to pay for something that I felt should have been picked up by is it Schnabel, right? I mean, they're the engineering firm that we paid them $1 million here for the design bidding process, so it's frustrating it. And then it's up that way.
I mean, some of it we would have been paying for anyway, because you would have the crane, you would have the fittings, you would have the pipe, it would have been bought in the beginning. The extra surveying that may not have been required, but the extra pieces for this outlet, they would have to buy those anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's nice to know up front that I'm paying for, this is what it's going to cost to put all the intake lines in, and you approve it, and then it's done, as opposed to this is what you're paying for the intake lines, and then halfway through the process, oh, well, I guess that's what contingencies are for. It's just frustrating. You pay all that money at the beginning and you're paying more as you go. So we need a motion to approve this change order.
Make a motion.
Have a second? Second. And is there any further discussion other than my rant? Okay, those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, carried. Change order number 5, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so hopefully on April 4th, they're gonna, I mean, what's the snow condition up there? As you
I mean, there's a little ice on the lake.
they get a lot of snow on these.
I wouldn't say a lot, it's very slushy right now. I mean, it's either frozen or it's slush pit, so hopefully by the end of April, it's more consistent. They can get some work done, scrape off some of the mud and work like that.
What's their plan is to start doing finish up the intake stuff, or are they gonna be working on the actual dam itself, do you know, with the?
Well, the first thing will probably be to get poles in for electricity.
Okay.
This piece that we just approved is not a critical path that can be done at any point, even after the new water service is up and running.
Oh, really?
We haven't had a functioning low level outlet for
Okay,
decades. So to not have it installed,
Middle intake is normal, that's your normal. So you can operate off the middle intake.
which is what we've been doing for
for
Years.
forever.
but. So the middle intake is obviously gonna be out far enough into the,
I mean, that the high level and middle are the low and mid level are already installed. That's all ready to go.
Right.
but they're not underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, they are underwater. Oh, okay, I thought
No, you
when we were keeping the dam down to,
That's the coffer, the coffer dam is down there underwater.
oh, okay.
That's what the coffer dam is for.
So when they go to install this,
Well, they're gonna need a crane and divers, which was the plan all along, 'cause even with the
Okay.
coffer dam, this was outside the coffer dam,
okay,
so this always required divers.
okay. Thought they, while the coffer dam was all in there, they laid everything down.
This is way outside the coffer.
Okay,
You know, when you bid it, you normally get a better price than change order, but that's. Any contract, so, you know, maybe pay 10% more this way. On a field condition, that's common. You need to do half more at home, you know, once you get the job and. The plumber, or the contractor says you gotta go here, and all of a sudden you gotta extend it a little bit more. He's not gonna give you the same price, it's gonna be like 10% more than normal in quotes, but. That's part of the
okay,
industry.
that makes me feel a little better. Okay, so hopefully we'll see in a couple of weeks. Them up there, and
Yeah,
the expectation still is going to be done out there by the end of the construction season, right, this year?
yeah, so I mean, there's still supply chain issues, which is my next item on the agenda addresses. Items related with that, so final completion with all the drawings and everything is now 1st of November. Substantial, I think, is September. But they all should be done in this calendar year.
Okay.
But my next item is from Schnabel. And it is a change order to the construction task number 13, construction phase services. And a lot of this change order is related to supply chain delays, so the construction season is gonna push out the supervision by 20 weeks from what they originally anticipated.
This is for Cooper Lake?
Yes. And then another large piece of this change order is their sub CDM Smith is doing the intake, the water intake stuff. And because of the supply chain issues, we're going to have to do 2 startups of the system, 1 manual and 1 fully operational. And the reason we can't do just one is if we wait for everything to show up, we're going to be sitting with our hands on our side until potentially June or July. So they can't do any of the work. They can't just decommission the old system. They can't cut the dam. They can't start filling the old dam in until the old system is decommissioned. So to do that, we need to start up the new system without all the pieces. For the
Okay, can you go over that again for me, then? Because
So we got to start up the system twice.
okay, but the change orders are for valves, you said, though?
No, it's for engineering.
Engineering.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
But that comes out of the entire,
There's no contingency for that. So on
Right.
that sheet, it's just, it would be added on to the 1.31. Which it's not included in there because I didn't get this until this week.
so how much,
$189,000. 47 of which would go towards CDM Smith. And they're doing the intake startups. And a lot of this is just the extended time, extra submittals. And most of it's, a lot of it's the supply chain, the pushing the project out through September, November is a lot of supply chain issues. We haven't really run into anything outside of that.
And the supply chain issues are for
There's a panel that we need in the tower.
electrical panel?
It's SCADA related. So it runs the building. So we have what we need for the electricity to the building, but now we're missing a panel that we need to start everything up. And it, every month it's gonna be delivered, and then at delivery time, they send a letter to Thale saying it's gonna be delayed. So it's been going on since last July.
Is that part out of the country or no?
I don't know where it's coming from, but I know Thale is quite frustrated because they keep forwarding the emails to me that in the letters, and you can see it, delivered this date, then you see, unfortunately, not gonna be delivered here, it's gonna be delivered next month. Then last October, they said it won't be till 2023. We were hoping it would be here in March. We thought that was gonna be a good date. Now we're looking at late spring, early summer.
So CDM Smith, the engineering.
They're hired,
Okay.
by Schnabel, so we're not paying them
Okay.
directly.
So the total thing to Schnabel is 189,
Which
47 of that
will go
is subcontracted out to Smith. And do you think that will result in any change orders to Thale?
this change order.
Yeah,
No, this is just basically get through the end of the project. And I mean, yeah, I don't see how this would affect Dale, other than they're gonna be watched by Schnabel, the CDM, for the rest of the
Okay.
project.
so my favorite question is, so where does this money come from?
It's EFC funded. I
Okay.
mean, we get change orders for our EFC projects all the time, and we just have to send those change orders to EFC. And then process.
So they just extend more of what we owe?
As long as it's under our total bond authorization, which is total $20 million.
Okay.
If we exceed 20 million, then we have to go to the store, get more authorization.
So you need a motion for this change order now?
Yes. To
Okay.
keep CDM on Schnabel's books, otherwise we lose CDM with a water intake startup supervision. The CDM is pretty much through their budget. So
Fair enough.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
So, I'll second it.
So
Yeah.
through the whole project, $20 million, we're like
that's
100 and,
our authorization from the common council.
right, but I'm just thinking of our overrun, you know,
well,
additional is what, 150,000?
For the construction, we're at 1% of what the original contract was.
I think that's a pretty good,
I would agree. I mean, 1% out of $15 million.
that whole project,
And
doing
we're 2 years
something
in.
like that, then there's always got to be unforeseen things, especially if you're-
And, I mean, I don't want to say that loud, but now that we're through, when we get through this part of the project, I mean, this is the difficult part will be behind us once everything's started up. Then it's a lot of bringing in earth fill. It's changing the slope of the dam, which I don't see that.
No, that should
That should be the
be
easy
something
part.
they can see, I mean.
the total of the project is
Right,
18,145,000. Including both.
but I
construction and
mean, with the
engineering.
change orders and everything, I think 1% is pretty good. Size of that project and the type of work they're doing.
Okay. So any other questions, discussions? I got a motion to approve, what's this change order, what?
This is
So 13?
task 13,
No,
amendment number. Those are that. Yeah,
well, it's
this
task
is amendment number 3.
amendment number 3. You
For
said,
task 13, of
Yeah.
$189,000.
okay, so I have a motion, I have a second. Any more discussion? Okay, those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Anything more on Cooper Lake?
Yes.
Okay,
All right, so the Shokan pipeline. So this has been going back and forth. So originally back in July, when we had the memo from CDM and we had put forth the authorization for the pipeline we laid, they had said 7 months worth of rental on the pipe. They come back to me and said that we only have the pipe now without having to take it over. They need to know by the beginning of May, because we have it through June 1st. If we want to leave it there or it needs to be picked up. So I've gotten the invoices from the sub they've got pipe from. The cost per month to keep the pipe in place is $25,000 a month. And if we go through June 1st, we actually ended up getting 9.5 months out of it instead of the 7 they originally told us when we got that memo from CDM. So have that, I guess.
Will that be determined by the spring that we're gonna be having? or-
I mean, we have until either the April meeting or we can go as far out as that first week of May to give them either we want, and we can do it month by month. So we have some time, it doesn't need to be decided now, but that's what we're looking at is 25,000 to keep that there. Last summer, from Memorial Day through Labor Day, we dropped pretty much every day. And when Labor Day hit, that's when we started going up. So unfortunately, the time when we need to make decisions, time last year when we were struggling the most. We now know that Reservoir 4 is an option to slow Cooper Lake down, so we could always activate that sooner again if we have to. But it's
All
something
those
that
pipes are connected now, except for
for
the,
Reservoir 4, no, for Ashokan,
yeah,
they're pretty much in place. We would need to authorize the barge to be put in, and that would be added cost. We haven't authorized them to do that.
and then there'd be added cost to buy the water from
Yes.
DEP.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we don't need to go that route, but the pipe is there, and if we picked it up and then we needed it 2 months later,
It's basically a
you'd have
safety,
to pay the whole
we're
thing
gonna
over.
be starting all over.
it's
from
basically a
scratch.
safety net.
Exactly,
And then it wouldn't be in place until they're ready to pack up and leave.
gotcha.
So we'd be paying them to come back and pick it up after they've already left.
So, yeah, I have a question. So we're being charged to keep the pipe there.
Not yet, it's right now, it was all included, we gave them a lump sum, we approved back on, it was authorized, I sent the email on 7/29. So
Yeah,
we had the special meeting, I believe, and that's when it was, we give them the go. So in that lump sum, we had what they had estimated as 7 months worth of pipe rental. And they've run the numbers and they've given those travel that it's up to me. After June 1st, to keep that pipe there, the water department needs to come up with $25,000 each month to keep it on the ground. Or they just start picking it up and sending it back to their vendor.
okay.
So if we needed it in July, August again,
Mhm.
we would start back from the beginning.
So how much did we,
There's one.
did we,
I don't think I
what
was.
was the original bill back?
1.2, I think.
1.2 million?
Yes.
So that's not included in any of this sheet here.
No, because it was already in the budget. It was in the contract. That, it was an add alternate item in the original.
Is that part of under sale?
$15.6 million. So that money was in the 15.6 that we paid, or I guess it's in the 10.4 that we paid.
Okay,
So that wasn't a change order. That was just
okay.
giving them the go ahead on that bid item to go ahead and do it
Well, that's included
in the
in
15.6.
the amount that's paid to sale.
Yes, and in that 15.6, there is money in there as well to provide the barge and, get the barge running. So that would be money that if we don't need it, would not be paid in that 15.6 million. I don't know what those numbers are off the top of my head, but that all included in the original bid.
Okay,
We don't need to decide today, but at the next meeting, it would need to be discussed and I would need to tell that one way or the other. But we could do 1 month at a time. as well.
right, so when do you need to let them know month by month? Is there a date? Like the first of the month?
Basically, the first of the month is where it's going to be, so we're looking at May 1st, I think I wrote second, so that might be the Monday, May 2nd, it's Monday, maybe. And then we can go from there, they just need 30 days notice of whether we want to keep it for that month or not.
But you start paying in June, right?
It would, I mean, we probably wouldn't pay it to fail until July, just because of how the pay apps work, would be added to that pay app, so you could see
Oh,
the
okay.
action. So we would be for June.
I mean, technically, we're paid up until June 1st.
Yeah,
So
so
the 30-day notice is by May 1st, we need to let them know that
we want to leave it for.
the contract's over and remove your pipe June 1st, or we want to extend it for another month. And comes June 1st, we have to let them know again the next month at 25.
Did you say possibly by June or July or something, they'd let us increase the level?
I
1096.
guess it depends on how the work progresses, and we're still not exactly sure at which stage we can start doing that. It kind of depends on how the water affects the work downstream when they start doing the work downstream of the dam. So if the water's coming through and making it hard for them, then we can't. And go up a foot, 2 feet, that's a lot of water. 1098 versus 1096 is a lot of water. It might not sound, but it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, every 2 weeks when I go up there, same thing I did last week, is kind of start raising this. I asked every time. It was like a running joke with the supervisor, myself up there, so.
And that's a supervisor
For that.
for Thale.
So I mean,
But who's
it's
making the decision?
a group, I mean, the DEC is involved, wild dam safety, everybody, so I mean, it's a question that I ask. At a minimum of 2 weeks when I go up there. And I will be doing it again this summer, because I don't want to go through it again. As soon as I can raise the reservoir, we will be raising the reservoir.
Hey, you don't want to go through what you did last summer.
No,
Okay, thanks for that update.
so
That ends that?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to replacement of transmission valves. Is this part of the WIA 2020?
yeah, I read is a little more accurate
Okay.
than what we have. What we're actually doing. So the bids are out. There's a pre-bid meeting tomorrow. Bids are coming in and being opened on 4/5. So at the next meeting, I don't know if I'll have a recommendation yet, but hopefully. This is kind of a interesting bid because it's being bid in pieces, so each intersection is kind of like a project within itself.
So how many different, like you said,
I think it's 6 different areas. But depending on what the costs come in, and we can pick and choose which ones. And it's to be bid that way, so
so there are 6 different projects, basically?
kind of, yeah, so it's like they won't know which ones until we see the numbers and tell them which ones. We only have X number of dollars, so
Okay.
depending on what the bids come.
But if the bids all came in well, I guess it's just different pieces of work that are being done. I mean, use the number 6 as
Those is different locations, and say there's one on Broadway and Foxhall, or one on.
6, basically 6 different valve projects. Or
There's more than 6, I think there's more than 6 valves, it's kind of 6 locations, I
Okay.
guess.
And this is where we were waiting for DOH approval last
Yes.
meeting.
Yeah.
So obviously got that approval.
We did.
So we'll see what we see come next month then, right?
Yes, hopefully I have an update. I mean, I'll have bids at least, so I'll have recommendations.
And who's overseeing that? Is that
CDM.
CDM? Okay, anything else on that? No? Okay, moving on to I Park.
They are 1 month behind now, so they did not pay the January bill. That's really the only real update I have. I know they submitted a site plan application to the town of Walsall Planning Board. I believe that meeting is next Tuesday. Just from looking at the website and how the planning board is usually run in town of Walsall.
So that meeting is,
The website says it's the second Tuesday of every month. I don't see anything specific for this meeting, like in terms of an agenda.
so that's the 14th. Right?
Yeah. From what I can tell, that's when it's going to be. I know they submitted a site plan. There's really not much in it, other than they're planning on putting in some apartments here and some commercial spaces there.
I see they're looking to get a
Yeah.
big grant. for
$2.2 million in federal funds to fix iPark's aging and partially offline water infrastructure. And that's from Freeman on March.
That
3rd.
doesn't affect us at all.
I don't really know what that grant is, if it's the town helping the private, owner apply for a grant, federal funds, it's one of the grant, I don't know, this, other than what I saw on Freeman, I don't know. anything
That's all I
about
saw.
that, So,
Well, I'm guessing I mean, if there's gonna be housing and everything else there, there's probably gonna be roads that are gonna be built. And so if there's roads that are gonna be built with new transmission mains or distribution mains, the funding is probably to do that at some point in time. I Park will
I
probably,
think in the article, it
They
mentions
mentioned
their tower, the pressure
fire.
tower and everything.
Oh,
too,
okay.
So that's all.
talks about they check their fire every day, just to make sure it's working. Some areas it doesn't work, so, but it's all in the
well,
article.
that was the purpose of that tower out there
Exactly.
now, right, that's rusted out and it's probably not in use. Oh,
But other than what I saw on the paper, I haven't heard anything else from anybody, so.
what time is that? Do you know what time that meeting is next Tuesday?
I think the website says they're typically at 7 or 7:30. But I did not see an agenda for next week. It just says like they're outstanding second Tuesday of the month, so.
So we have no idea what type of presentation or will occur there, right?
No idea, yeah. I'm assuming they'll be there to do some kind of presentation, but
At what point in time do they receive comment? Do you have any idea? I mean,
under the 2 parcels in the back, I got an email from their planning, somebody in the planning department. I don't know how far after the meeting was, but they did send me something asking for,
comment?
so I would expect to get the same thing, because I mean, I was copied on the email where they were saying the site plan application was submitted, so they are well aware that we are involved.
Have you been in contact with them about the late payment?
They just changed who got the bills, so I'm thinking that might be part of the delay, because they had called and asked for somebody else to get it, so we sent it to a new party, so we will follow, we just sent them a new bill. So,
Okay, yeah,
but they did change for January, I believe they had called and asked for somebody else to get it. So that may be part of the delay as well. Because they have been paying, even when they were late the one time, they came back and paid it, so.
and we need to, at some point in time, have a discussion with them about what's going on. Correspondence.
Nothing.
Okay. Anything new, nothing, any new on like, the Golden Hill development up there?
Other than CDM's working on the model, when they're here tomorrow for the pre-bid meeting, we're gonna do some stuff with that as well. So I think they're shooting for the first week of April to have the preliminary results for Penrose to look at.
You say April what?
First week of April, I believe, that's what we're going for.
And we haven't heard anything back from the mayor or Bill about the town of Ulster rates, what our next steps are.
No, Bill's, I think he's come back today, so I expect I'll hear from him sometime this week to see how everything's going.
Yeah, maybe, And we can set up a meeting between you and me and Bill and the mayor. To kind of just figure out. What the next steps are, because I know the mayor was gonna look into it about. If this is a new contract, or if we're gonna contract with whoever at iPark. If the common council is gonna have to approve that.
Right.
So he was gonna look at that end, and Bill's gonna look at. The whole issue about. The contract says about rates and paying 10% more than. What city of Kingston residents pay. Okay. Superintendent's report. We have a lot of precipitation or rain in February, huh? Seemed like it was wetter than that, didn't it, February?
Been normal, yeah.
But it's only.
Some of the storms were a lot of wood.
Well, that shows only, the report shows only 1.7.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it's on weather system up there, and it's snowing, it didn't register on rain gauge,
Okay,
I asked Derek to check it.
just seems like it was wetter than that, that's all. Okay, anybody have any other questions? Other motion to accept the report?
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
Okay, those in favor? Opposed? Okay,
Maybe it just seemed wetter because we've been getting so few rainfall, you know? Like even this whole winter, we just didn't get much snow. You know, just finally, yeah, we got a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, actually, on the
Over Christmas and,
Cooper Lake has its own weather station that the contractor has set up, and they only have 0.75 inches of precipitation, so this is at Nick Hollow. So-
okay. Yeah, maybe I just assumed it was, but you're right, I mean,
maybe just because it was so dry, it seemed like a much, you know, drier. We usually had so many more storms. You know?
yeah,
Not California.
Oh, my goodness,
Wow.
I know.
yeah, they go from
It's nuts.
one end to the other, right?
6 feet of snow.
I used to know it was because of the drive, the next bit now. They can't start for it.
We have a personnel issue. The
Yeah,
next on the agenda. No need to go in executive session, is there?
I do have some stuff.
Okay. But separate from this,
Yeah,
or do you want to go in executive session first?
whatever word you want to do with it.
Do you want to do bills and accounts?
Oh, yeah, we do that. Exactly, thank you.
Okay, I'll
Uh,
make a motion to accept the bills and accounts as presented.
Second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. The reason to go into executive session,
Contractual?
contractual, so it's separate from personnel, so.
Yeah,
We can handle the personnel issue. First, before we go in.
I mean, it's in the memo, I know I asked for potential. For this good notice for the prior employer didn't really work out, so I don't need anything backdated. She's set to start on Monday. And she'll be here in the office.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the hiring of Jessica Ellsworth. The position of account clerk at a salary of $47,602 per year. Effective March 13th, 2023.
Make the motion.
Okay, second, okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Carried. Motion to go into executive session?
It's okay with you, right?
Yes, it is. What we-
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
I
Opposed? Okay, we're now in executive. Okay, we're back into regular session and I just have an update on the vacant commissioner's position. As a result of our meeting last month, I reached out to Nate Horowitz. And told him that we had a vacancy. And he indicated he was interested, so he submitted an application. And the mayor and I met with him yesterday. But we're looking for clarification from Bill. And I don't know if the mayor has actually sent an email to him or not, because I asked him to copy me. But currently Nate is an employee of the city, but I think he's planning on moving out. And I was under the impression from our charter that you had to be a resident.
City.
Did you ever find our charter?
I did not. I
Okay,
mean, I found it was online, but it's pretty.
okay. And the mayor says on the city's charter, there isn't a specification of being a city resident. So we're looking for clarification from our attorney to that matter. So we'll figure that, once we figure that out. I mean, Nate's willing to serve, and I think you're a good candidate. I don't think any of you were here when he served as he was the alderman from, I don't know what ward he was in, but he was the liaison.
I think I was here.
Yeah, you were over on the other side. So, yeah, I mean, he was a good alderman as a liaison. He came to all the meetings, he participated, he had a lot of interest. And that's kind of why we reached out to him, so try to figure out that issue. So,
Okay, thank you for that, Jane.
So, just so I have it, so he'd be a replacement, but we're still down one.
no, he'd be replacing Bob,
Yeah,
and that would fill
So then we'd have 6 is the total number, yeah?
about 5 in the mayor.
He's a member, so he's.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that seems like a weird number for.
yeah, the mayor and I had the same discussion yesterday when we were interviewing or having a discussion with Nate about that. And I think part of the issue is that in the past, mayors very rarely participated
Oh, never.
in our meetings, and he's the only one, since I've been on the board, the only time the mayor would come is if there was some special issue that the mayor wanted out of the water department. Otherwise, you never saw the mayor. And so, in essence, you had the 5 commissioners. You had an odd number in regards to a tie on a vote. With the mayor being here every single meeting and participating, yeah, you could end up with a.
And the charter calls for a mayor to sit in as a board member.
I think that,
It does, yeah.
yeah,
It does.
yes.
So the mayor appoints and the mayor also sits
Sits.
on.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if guess he's a voting member. I mean, again, I just go back in and read that, but yeah, I mean, he's voted last meeting. If the mayor didn't attend the meeting, we wouldn't have a quorum and we wouldn't have been able to conduct business. There was 3 of us last meeting, so that's kind of where the update is, and I'll follow up with Bill and the mayor to see what the answer is to that question. Okay, anything else?
One other thing, I brought it up last month as well, but April 11th through 13th.
Oh, right.
New York State Water event in Saratoga. I was planning on attending. Our meeting is scheduled for the 12th, so we want to push that to the next week.
Works for me.
Yeah, I mean, the 19th.
That's next Wednesday, so I mean, any I would, I don't care, we usually do Wednesdays, but the next Wednesday is the 19th.
Is that good with everybody else?
we have an appointment at 4.
Okay,
I wouldn't be
Should
able.
be
to-
off by 5. I should be back by 5, hopefully, though.
okay,
Maybe I'd be a tiny bit late if I wouldn't be. But that's the only thing I have right now on my calendar.
19th is good with me.
And
I wouldn't be able to make the 12th anyway, just so you know. So that works for me.
Okay, so the next meeting is gonna, at this point in time, is gonna be April 19th.
Okay.
At 5 p.m.
That also gives CDM a little extra time with the bids, so
Oh, good, yeah, right.
hopefully we can get something out of it.
You might be able to approve them at the meeting then.
Hopefully.
Where's that meeting?
Which meeting?
When you're going to?
Saratoga.
gambling there.
You want to attend the meeting?
Yeah,
This is which meeting there? Which meeting is that?
The New York State water event. Gonna be the day.
AWWA,
Yeah,
New York section. Saratoga's at the Hilton.
Yeah, that was the one meeting that Judy got the award at.
Correct.
Bill and I and family came up.
Right, same place.
Yeah, no, okay. Okay,
that's all I got.
okay. Accept the motion to adjourn.
make the motion.
Okay, second. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.